Hey everyone, so I've already gotten a head start on installing the interior panels and everything for the car. But before I do that, I wanted to do an upgrade to the stereo system that I have. So the previous owner had installed a Pioneer head unit, or a Sony head unit with Pioneer speakers, and I thought it was lacking in the bass department, so I went and picked up a Rockford Fosgate PS-8 subwoofer with an included amp and everything. It comes with the wires and pretty much everything that's needed. I just needed to pick up a wire ring, and I'll show you guys what I've done for the install so far. It's really simple. Just got to send the power line from the battery to the back of the car, and then everything else from there is pretty much plug and play. So let me show you guys what that looks like right now. So the wire that comes included with the subwoofer is this red wire right here. It doesn't come with a ring fitting at the end, so I have to pick these up. If you pick up this kit, I'll also include a link to where I picked these up myself. You just need to crimp that wire ring to the end of the power cable. This is 10 gauge if I'm not mistaken. So attach that to the battery here, wired it around, and it has a little, I believe it's a 10 amp fuse, inline fuse that's included in this. You can unscrew this and there's a little fuse that's sitting there. I just wired it around so it's not near anything that's too hot, and poked a little hole right there through the firewall. So what that comes through is right there. So I haven't tied it in perfectly yet. Let's see, I've attached it to this main line. It's gonna follow this down the door and to the back. Now I plan on installing the subwoofer, which is this guy right here. It's a nice sized unit, not too big, not too small. It's got some good heft to it, but I want to put it right here after the T3 panel is installed. It's going to sit right there. I'm probably going to have to drill 2 holes. I'm thinking of drilling one here and another in this corner, so at least I get 2 of them down. This is usually where the jack would go, the factory jack for the spare tire. It's not a flat metal panel here for me to drill all 4 holes. I think the 2 would be enough. I've also run the ground right there. It's a really short cable that comes with the kit, and they also recommend it be under 30 inches if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I think that's a perfect spot. So I'm really looking forward to that upgraded sound and sound insulation. Now let's continue on with the install. I think what I'm going to tackle next is getting the panel lined up and drilling the holes needed to mount the subwoofer to the chassis. And after that, I think it's time to put the carpet in the car. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that myself. I know that the company I bought the carpet from, Stock Interiors, they recommend that I leave the carpet out open from the box under the sun for a few hours for it to, I guess, get some of the kinks out. So I'll put the carpet out under the sun right now, and then I'll get started working on the stereo. After I finish the stereo, I'm going to start on that carpet, give the car kind of a finished look. It's been looking like this for a while now, and even worse before the sound insulation because of all that exposed metal that was there before. So once the carpet goes in, the next step after that is to go to the roll cage guy. He's going to fabricate a custom half cage for me with the X-brace, harness bar, and all that stuff. He's going to tie in the 2 suspension points there. It's going to stiffen up the chassis quite a bit, and will give some rollover protection, which is always good when you're driving a tin can. Okay, so one important thing to note when you're working with stereo, car audio at least, is that you don't want to run the power cable in parallel with the cable that's sending the signal for the music to your subwoofer or your speakers for that matter. Mainly because this is going to create, I believe, some type of electric field, and it's going to cause interference. Long story short, it's going to cause interference to the music signal, and you may get some static or other issues with your sound. So I don't want that. I'm going to be running the cable that's sending. This is an RCA cable, by the way. This is not included with the kit, so I went and picked up my own. This is going to be running separate from this guy. I'm thinking of running it alongside the transmission area right here, and then taking it through here and passing it over there. I'm not sure if that's the best routing, but that is one thing to keep in mind. Otherwise I would just run it right next to this guy because it is the cleanest spot. It's not going to get in the way. There's actually one more wire that I forgot about, and that's the remote start wire. What this does is it enables the subwoofer to automatically turn on when the head unit turns on. And interestingly enough, it looks like the previous owner had a subwoofer installed that he removed. Thanks, guy. But thanks to that, I actually already know which one's the remote starter cable. He already has this thing hooked up. Maybe I can splice into this, or I can add the cable that's included with the kit into that port right there. So I'm just going to remove this and see how I can fix that. To make my life just a little bit easier, I decided to splice this cable by using these little connectors that I have, as well as stripping the wire using this. Now, if you don't have those tools or those parts, none of these are included in the kit. I'll have links to those in the description box below, as well as the other tools and the subwoofer. But yeah, this is going to make the job a lot easier. I'll just be cutting the end of the sleeve on this wire, as well as the wire that's included in the kit. Thankfully, they've already kind of done that here. And then you just twist them into this and it connects. It holds in place, it's solid, and it's not going to experience much vibration or anything since it's in the cabin. So these are a pretty easy tool to use. Probably is frowned upon in the professional car audiophile community, but does the job, works well, and that's what I'm going to use. There she is. So I'll just plug this back into the back of my head unit and continue on with the install. Nice. So the subwoofer also comes with this cool remote adjustment knob for controlling how much bass output you want. I'm trying to figure out where to mount this right now. I've removed part of I've actually reinstalled part of the interior to see if there's any space for maybe having this underneath. I've also thought of putting it right here, but I'd rather not cut into that if possible. Okay, now that I've got this piece back in, it's not fully installed because I'm just test fitting it right now. If this goes down, I have quite a bit of room to work with there for putting the bass adjustment knob. I think that's a good spot for it. I have space. Yep, I can run the wire back through there and should be good. Let's see. And this will be lower. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad spot. Cool. Okay, I'll route that right now and see. That wire should also be running with the remote power and RCA cables. So I'll route all of those together coming from here, probably going down this side, away from the power line. Before I continue on with the elaborate wiring and drilling and mounting, I want to make sure that this thing actually works. So I'll just be plugging in everything right here and testing it out. Now, going off of what it says on the back here, it says ground, remote, and B+. So I'm assuming B+ is just going to be the big power wire, which is right here. I'll be plugging all those into this guy right here and screwing in with that. Should be pretty simple. Okay, we've gotten everything wired up here. This is the ground, remote power line, and then the power source. And the ground is too short, so I'm gonna have to move that box closer. Let's do this. And again, this is just for testing out the unit, making sure everything works and that I don't fry anything. So still too short, damn it. Okay, now that I've gotten everything hooked up, including the remote power line, I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the negative terminal on the battery, see if this thing powers up. Hopefully nothing gets fried. Now when I turn the accessory on, oops, radio will turn on. Now that will only turn on once you've played something through your head unit. The head unit was on and this didn't turn on until music was playing. Now I'm not going to demonstrate the music just yet because of copyright reasons, but you'll have to take my word that it does punch. Pretty much have it wired up and ready to go. I just have this tape in to hold the wires in place when the carpet goes in. But outside of that, that red power wire you see over there, running on the driver's side of the car, all the way up through to the sub, which is going to be in that back left corner. And then we have the signals running on the passenger side, so there's no, whoops, there, so there's no interference, and it goes up all the way through. Gets routed through here, nice and neatly around the taillight panel and exterminates here where it'll attach to the sub. So now that we've got the wiring all figured out, I think I'm going to go ahead with installing the carpet. Don't know if that's going to be a one-man job, but we'll give it a try. It's been sitting under the sun for a few hours already, so as you can see here, a lot of the wrinkles have worked themselves out and it's looking nice. It's a very sunny day today, so this thing is actually really hot, especially this rubber. Okay, let's get to it.